duck, duck, goose. Hold on, let's just... I'll never get tired of this. I'm sorry. Why struggle? Why struggle? Purrs like a kitten after sitting for 2 years. Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to an episode of Pat Taste Sports. Today in the driveway, we have actually a few snowblowers. We actually had the day, a couple days after our first storm. Believe it or not, I just made a video saying, because we're getting a lot of questions, we have no snow, what do I do with my snowblower? And literally the next day, we got pounded with snow. Anyway, long story short, I pulled out our Ariens and it blew the oil group belt just at the very end. This snowstorm that we had was very thick and heavy. It snowed, it rained, it snowed, it rained, and just kept on going and going. And I had no intentions of blowing snow because it was getting warmer out. But I decided, you know what, let me be productive and let me blow some snow. And at the very end, doing my neighbor, not us, the belt blew. No big deal. So anyway, as you guys know or may not know, we have a plethora of snowblowers here at Pat Taste Performance. We have quite the personal private collection, and one of them we decided to drag out just in case we do get more snow is our Ariens 11.5, well, 11528LE. 11.5 is the horsepower, 2.8 is the clearing path, LE is the light and electric start. Now what's cool about this machine, and the reason why we got it, is this machine actually has Ariens' first form, earliest form of power steering. This machine is all original. This was purchased for my wife because of the power steering. But it is a very simple design where it unlocks one wheel and it freewheels, and once you release, it'll lock it back into go. The missus refuses to use this machine. She prefers her Ariens 1128, which is just like this one right here, but in its factory form. Not with the supercharged Hemi battery key start. She has no interest in that. She likes to keep things factory. So this has literally been sitting for I don't even know when the last time this thing was used, but as you guys could tell, this thing is in phenomenal shape. We got it from its original owner who took great care of it, and we take even better care of it here. So this thing probably has been used in maybe 5 years, but this thing absolutely runs like a champ. Now, these machines I store dry. I'm thinking about making a dedicated video on how to store your machine. But anyway, let's fire this thing up. We're gonna give this thing a quick little once over, quick little service, and make sure this thing is good to go. So first things first, let's check our oil. And you know what we use? We got that royal purple goodness in there, and our oil is full. And you can still see, still clean. Just because it is clean does not mean it is good. Over time, oil does break down. And if you read your owner's manual, it says to change it every year or every 25 hours, whichever comes first. Over time, oil breaks down. We do use royal purple, so you can maybe stretch it, but in my opinion, oil is cheap. Your machine is not. Let me repeat that. Oil is cheap. To replace your Ariens or Tecumseh motor, but something else is not. I know you don't want to go crazy as me, but I have $1,000 into my swap that I did a couple years ago. Now, you know, prices of things have gone up, and that $1,000 does not include my time. I have a lot of time into that machine, and it's not done just yet. So we are going to put the choke lever down in the stop position, right? We're going to give this just a couple of dry starts. Wanna know why? Because I want to work all this oil around this machine, all into the nooks and crannies, all into the journals and bearings and whatnot. Because, you know, if you think about it, oil over time comes down. Now, what you're banking on is oil working its way into the metal itself and helping with lubricity. So we gave it a couple of dry starts. Throttle up, choke all the way to the right, prime for a good time, fire in the hole. Wow, who's the person who works on this machine? Woo. 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 What a beauty, Clark. Who's the mechanic who keeps after that? We're gonna let it warm up. In the meantime, let's check the functionality. Keep hand grips on. All right, let's check our... I forgot how this one works. All right, it locks, pull up. Beauty. That's the gears. This needs a little lube. If you own an Ariens or any machine that has full tilt shoot control, you always store it up. Okay? When you store it up like that, there's a spring here. You see that? That spring has no tension on it. So if you have no tension on it, that's fantastic. It's not going to stretch. If you store it like this spring has tension on it, and it's gonna wear prematurely. I get this all the time. Look at that. Pops right back up. Like, this is the way it should be. Alright, let's check the gears. Reverse. Reverse 1. Nice and slow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Fantastic. Wheels are locked. Wheel is not locked. Wheel is locked. Let's engage the blades. Let's not turn the chute towards the camera. Even though there's nothing in here, let's play safe. We have liftoff. I can tell by the vibration it's spinning, and because it has the modified impeller, I can feel air being moved here. All right, let's kick it up a notch. Full speed ahead. Let's check auger lock. One hand. Alrighty, I'm gonna off camera let this thing run for another 5 minutes, get this thing nice and hot, and we'll get back to dropping the oil and changing it. Alright, this thing should be nice and hot by now. Now what I'm doing is, I can't remember everything. I'm just checking OH318SA in this handy sheet that Mrs. Pat Taste Performance printed out to me many years ago. I have everything written down. OH318SA calls for 26 ounces. Shown on production models 2004 or later. This is very helpful. All right, step one, dipstick loose, out, and over to the side. Step two is to undo our drain plug. And that is 5/8. Do not ask me the metric conversion. Use 5/8 because 5/8 is snug. Up, you see how the whole dipstick is moving? No big deal. Let's tighten that back up. And then let's get some locking pliers. All right. So now you don't want to make this too tight, but you just want to do it just enough to just grab it and stop it from spinning. You don't want to collapse the line. I mean, go by feel. And there we go. And let all that royal purple just flow right out. I mean, look at this color. If we're going by looks and color, it's still good. Taste, not so much. I don't want to bore you with that. Let that drain out. Let it get nice and good. I like to let this thing flow completely out. That's why I like to let it run. And then once it's done running, tip it back. See that? It's got a lot more to go. Such a well-balanced machine. If you want to go get crazy, right? What I think I'm going to do is leave it like this and go get something to eat real quick. And then I'll be back. This thing will be completely drained for sure. Alrighty, so now we're done here. Filled with some nice lunch. Let's take our cap. We're going to keep our vice grips on there. I put no sealant on my drain plugs. It's not necessary. It's not required. It's basically a pipe plug. And you're going to feel it by hand. It's going to get tight. And just a quarter turn. That's it. That's it. You're done. You're done. Release your vice grips. and you're good to go. I mean, this oil is brand new. This thing, if this thing has an hour on the oil, that's a surprise. All right, so as you can see, our funnel in. Next is some 5W30 Royal Purple goodness. Royal Purple is the only oil that we put in our snowblowers. This is Pad Taste Performance approved. You will not catch us using any other oil in these machines. Our machines are at least 15, 20 years old. The 4 workhorses of our fleet are just as old. They're all 11/28s, okay? And they do not skip a beat. I toss that up to a few good things. Royal Purple, my insane maintenance schedule, and just overall buying a quality machine. The Kumsa engine is a solid engine. This is a paint cup from Home Depot. This is how I measure my ounces. Now, just a fun fact. Well, you know, I say this all the time, and I only say this all the time because I want to remind you guys that if our machines are running for a minimum of 8 hours or out for a minimum of 8 hours, as soon as I get home, the oil is freaking piping hot. Can't get any hotter than what it is. I will change the oil. As soon as it's nice and hot, old Royal Purple out, fresh Royal Purple in. I'll flip the bucket up, which we're gonna do later on in this video, and I will actually grease the machine and check everything out. The missus and I, knock on wood, we have never had a catastrophic breakdown while out snowblowing. The only catastrophic breakdown we've had, when I just said never, really, is on the custom Ariens, right? I thought just blowing out our driveway was enough R&D, and I was very anxious to take it out into the wild on our snow removal route. And while we were finishing up a house, the drive kept getting worse and worse and worse. And I say worse and worse and worse as it really wasn't moving. So I thought, ooh, maybe I have to adjust the friction disc. In my mind, I thought it helped, but in the end, the belt let go. It was the wrong size belt. That's what happens when you take on custom projects like that. And I almost thought I had to call a tow truck to come get this thing, because it was very hard to get back up into the truck, but nonetheless I got it. Anyway, 24 ounces is what it calls. 24 ounces is what we're going to put in. Of course, we are going to check. So what I'm doing now, again, a couple of dry pulls. Work all that oil back in, because we just flowed it all out. You know, 3 to 5. Listen, if you want to do more, it doesn't hurt. I'd say 3 to 5, bare minimum. Bare minimum. What are you doing? This is like an exercise, like, you know, Richard Simmons. All right. Prime for a good time. Choke, throttle, fire in the hole. Let's take our dipstick out and let's check. Stick it back in, thread it in. So the only thing I don't like about Tecumseh dipsticks and my eyes, because that is an issue. Where's my rag? Is that these dipsticks get dyed over time or stained if the oil isn't changed. And for me, it's very, very hard. But we're right on the money. We're right on the money. So we're good to go. Okay, now, snowblower yoga time. Now if you're worried about gas spilling out, take a piece of plastic or like a plastic bag, undo the cap, and stick it over the cap and close it back up. But I don't care about gas. I'm not worried. Alright, so we have our rubber mat out. And we are going to perform snow blower yoga. Watch your oil pan. And away we go. See, didn't hit the other one. Just wipe all of this up because I just can't not help myself. So it's like 50-50 if you want to wipe up all the old stuff, because that is literally a rust inhibitor. Next off is we're going to pop off the wheels and pop off the belly pan and service all the gears. So here's our wheel. Does that clip look familiar? The same as our modern Ariens. And look at this. And the shaft comes out just like that as well. Be careful of the keyway. We'll leave that there. And we're going to do the same thing to the other side, off camera. Keyway. Okay, and that is a solid axle. There is no difference. Now back then when we first got this machine, I can't tell you how many years ago, I didn't know that these axles come apart. And I'll be honest with you, you guys could tell I never greased it. But here I am. I'm lucky. This literally came right out. Alright, so I have my safety goggles on. I'm going to polish this. Now this is covered in grease, so I'm just going to hit these splines real quick. Remember, don't lose that keyway. So here we go. Lucas Red and Tacky. I left it outside on purpose. Been sitting in the snow. Right? This is just something that I've been talking about with other small engine mechanics. Basically, the girls over at Eliminator's Performance. We talk about, you know, things here and there, but look at that. Been sitting in the snow. Right? If you guys didn't see in my last video. And look how, it's still, how do you say this word? I can't think of the term. It's still malleable, right? It's still doing its job. Now what we're going to do is going to stick this inside here, spin it, take this extra grease, put it on these splines, take some more grease, right? Can't go wrong with too much lube. There's no such thing, for the most part in life lesson. You can thank me about this when you get older in life, right? No such thing as too much lube. Now I'm spinning it, and I'm trying to catch it inside the axle. You will know you got it right because it will come right in. Come on. Just got to play. Do we need to pull this cable? All right. Let's pop off that cover. Let's see what we got going on for an alignment issue. Now let's go to our belly pan. These should be 3/8. And you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. See these right here? Same on the other side. This is such a clean machine. So refreshing. So refreshing. When you take care of things and they just take care of you right back. Remember, don't lose those bolts. Those are very, very important. And also we need to pull the belly pan because we are going to grease. There's a grease fitting on this machine. We need to grease it, and the only way to check if we're properly greasing it is to pull the pan off. Now look inside here. I'm gonna leave that. Rust protection. So here we are inside the belly of the beast. And I just want to show you something really quick about your friction disc. It's starting to split. This rubber is God knows how many years old. Right, so over time that rubber dries out and splits. If this machine is going to be put into commercial service, we would replace the friction disc. Since we're using it for our yard, our driveway, you know, I'm going to order it and add it to the list of things, but it's not going to be a priority. I do have videos on how to replace a friction disc. Not this one, I don't think. So usually on Ariens, they're very, very simple. This one is a little bit more work. You know what, maybe we will do it. But anyway, let's get this shaft in. And you see how I needed to work that shaft in? Just like that. So now we're good to go. We are in. Now, this is the power steering system. It's these gears inside here with a spring, and it attaches to this brake handle cable up there, that bicycle cable. That cable, when you squeeze it, unlocks your differential. If you load it back in, it locks it back in. See that? So while we are in here, let's get some grease in there. because that is very, very, very important. Let's put the transmission into high gear. It doesn't matter, you can put it into low gear. And let's just run it across like so. Okay, spin the wheel and see how we wrap it around. Now you take your, put it in low gear, back to high, back to low. You see how it spreads it for you. But because I have to have my hands on everything, we're just gonna put our greasy fingers all over the shaft. Next. Again, look how malleable this Lucas is from sitting in the snow. Right on these gears. Okay, and right on the chain. You do not need to put chain lube on here. Grease is more than sufficient. How many fluids, how many different types of greases do you really need to have? Because if you do this often, this is a bad example of doing this often, but I haven't touched this machine, I can't tell you how many years. And look at this chain. It still has play in it. Now, coming from somebody who works on a lot of this stuff, machine sitting for a very, very long time is the worst thing that you could do for it. Do not let the machine sit. So now we're going to focus back to the wheels and the shaft. This is in. Let's get this a spin, get it to where we need it to be. Where's our keyway? Did we not kick it all over the place like an idiot? Nope. Here's our keyway. Just get the old grease off. Let's get our red and tacky. And again, let's just cover everything. Don't be cheap with grease, please. Okay. We're still not going to put our keyway in. Let's get our wheel. Put it in and give it a spin. Work that grease in the wheel. Take our excess grease off everything and reapply it. As you guys could tell, I love grease. Stick your keyway in there. Put grease all over that. Line up your keyway hole on the wheel and reinstall. See how it's locked in? Take our clip with my greasy hands. And reinstall. So on the passenger side or right side, you're going to see a grease fitting. And we're just going to grease it. Now, on something like this, it's just like the augers. I grease this until I see fresh grease coming out. Certain things you want to do just a little bit, certain things you want to purge, and this we want to purge. And there you go. You could see the grease coming, yep, right out, right there. That's all you need to do. So the same way we grease that axle is the same way we are going to grease the other axle. Now, because this shaft is a solid shaft, we don't need to pull anything apart. So again, Lucas Red and Tacky. Generous amount. We'll take our wheel, put it on there, give it a spin one way, give it a spin the other. See that? Work that grease in, pull it back out. We have our excess grease on the wheel, take that. Let's get our keyway in there. And reapply. Right all over that keyway. Let's make a note of that hole. That's interesting. Okay. And let's put our clip in there. Now, let's focus on this right here. Let's get our cover in here. We're gonna cover this. I'm gonna just take our excess grease. We want to work this into the splines. Work this into the splines. Do not skip out on this step, because I have had a few of these where this stopped working, and that was due to a lack of lubrication, a lack of service. This is a movable part. It's metal, and metal on metal over time rust. And you see that? Now we're working it. Let's spin the shaft. Let's work it. Let's work it. Okay, now you see those little key slots? We're going to do two things. We are going to hit it with some spray lube. See? And this is why I have it. And we're going to spray it inside and spin this. And as we spin it, and I'm holding this can a little bit and feathering the can, it's working its way in. Let's release. Let me see how it grabs. Spin it both ways. Let's unlock it again. Spin it. We'll do it again. And this is why I have, because you don't want any of this getting on the friction disc. Okay. Release again. And now we're going to go up here, because this is just a pivoting point. And we're going to get all up inside there. We'll take some more grease in the unlock position. And we're gonna pack it in. Just want to get some red and tacky in there. See how it works itself out. Release. And you see how it's switching? Let's pack it in. Get some more grease. Watch your fingers, make sure it doesn't get caught. And we're gonna pack that sucker in. You see how we're rotating it? See how it's grabbing it? It's gonna work that red and tacky in there. No problem. And that is why it is very important to grease this. Look at all those movable parts. Now we do have some stuff on the friction disc. It happens. So we'll just move it over to where we have it. It's actually on the outer edge. It's not going to affect it. But let's clean it anyway. And this thing is good to go. Look at this. Like a bicycle. Alrighty, let's put our belly pan back on. Remember, we're not going to clean it because that is literally rust prevention. And as you guys could see, for as long as this has been in storage, right? What don't you see? You've got one guess. One guess. Look at this. And oh, look at this, who is this? Look at this, anti-seize on the bolts. Came right out. What don't you see? No mouse nests. One. No mouse nest because we try and keep things mouse free. Number two, you think a mouse wants to step all over that grease? Probably goes in there and is like, nope. If it's nice and clean, can't get nothing on them, and they're gonna run around and play. But if they see all that grease, they're gonna say, no thank you. It's like maybe it's like hot lava to them. Let's get our fingerprints off of here. Only where people could see them. Get our covers and grease off, and we're gonna go to the front of the machine. Now I forgot. Well, you were in there to check the belts, but when we flip it over, we'll check the belts from the top with the belt cover. We'll go nice and slow. Alright, now let's focus to the front of the machine. For the auger systems, you're going to see some Zerk fittings. 1, 2, 3, and 4 on the other side. So let's grease what we can see. Now, if you want, I choose not to, because look, you see this? You see how I'm rocking this back and forth? These augers are not frozen. See that? I could move this. These aren't frozen. So I don't need to do anything, because what you can do is grease it, pull the shear pins out, and give it a spin and work that grease in. Don't have to, not necessary. If you bought a new to you machine, I will 1010% recommend you do that. But I did that already. I pulled the shear pins, greased it, and spun it a couple of times. To me, if you don't service your machine every year, then yeah, you need to do that. But you hear that pop? That's the old grease coming out. It's pushing air out, so you know you're purging, so that grease is working its way through. I don't know if the camera picked up that pop. Now, grease will come out in many ways. You could see it coming out of the sides, or it'll come out the shear pins. Once you see it come from one of those, you know you're good to go. This thing is fully greased. And all you have to do is just rock it. Just rock it, or pull everything out and give it a spin. Here we go. You heard the pop. And there's the grease. And see, you just rock it. Now, what I'm gonna do is, you're gonna hold the handle down as if you're blowing snow and pull the recoil. Make sure the machine can't start this way. You know, pull the key out or put it on start. And then you're gonna give this a couple of pulls. You're gonna rotate the auger till you get access to the zerks. Once you see the zerks, you can start greasing. And that's exactly what we're going to do. Now let's focus on the gearbox. This out, take your grease gun, give it a couple of pumps. Now this grease gun used to pump really good. Now it's really, really slow. So this is actually going to be a lot of pumps, but if it's a couple of good pumps, let's say 5 or 10. You do not need to put the special Ariens grease in here. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I will take that to the death. You could fight me on that. As long as you do it and you do it often, it doesn't matter. And these are sealed, right? So when the seals blow, are you gonna have oil leak all over the place? No, grease is not gonna leak like oil. It's not necessary. I've mentioned this many times on my channel. No need to. And we can argue, and I will argue that till the death. And again, some of you older guys, if you work on older equipment, they don't have oil in gear cases, they have grease. And it's what, 100 years later, it's just fine. Snowblowers started off with grease, then they changed it to oil, went back to grease, and now they're currently back in oil. Why they do that, who knows? Maybe it's a manufacturer type deal, the cost. I mean, everything's expensive. Maybe they get a better deal on oil than grease. And then if you want to go deeper than that, okay, the components inside a gear case are the same components of 15, 20 years ago. The metals are still the same. So there literally is no difference. Off to our belt cover. So we're only going to show you, I'm only going to do one side, but on each side of the bolt, on the belt cover, is a bolt. Take those off. are good. Probably going to adjust this just a little bit. This is good. There's no other grease in here. There's no greasing points in here. It's either it's there or it's not. I think it's, what is this, a 14? So we're going to show you one way or the other on one side, right? We're just loosening it, just enough. Can we move this on its own? Come on. This should be able to move back and forth. Why is this not moving? Yeah, see, we should be able to slide this back and forth. Why is this not sliding? Let's take a look. Did it wear itself in a groove? Okay, so it's either one way or not. Let's do adjustment. Let's poke it in. Okay, so we put it into the next slot, but it's furthest away. You know, we can go closer, but we're going further away. What I like to do is just have the pulley, if I can, basically kiss the belt. So now we're going to start up the machine, and we're going to pull everything away from the auger, make sure it can't suck anything in. And we're going to engage the augers. And what we're going to do is, we're going to see if it spins on its own. If it spins on its own, we know we have to pull back the adjustment. Alright, so the auger isn't spinning, so we know we're good. Let's engage. Disengage. We're good. Engage. And it stops on its own. It's good. All right. Put everything back together. Alright, so before you adjust your skid shoes, we're going to air up the tires because tire pressure is key. These tires are rated for 20 psi, and I like to go to 15. Now, if this machine had tire chains on it, like the rest of our machines, I would inflate this to the max PSI. This would be at 20 because the chains do all the traction. And it also, the air in the tires keeps tension on the chains. That's just me. I don't run low tire pressure on chains. I don't believe in low tire pressure when it comes to snow. These Carlisle X-Track tires are plenty of meat. Okay, and as you guys could see, look at that. There is no need to adjust a scraper bar. For us here, scraper bars are a lifetime part. What we do is we take a paint stick. I'll see if I could edit out another video or take a clip of another video. Is we take a paint stick, stick it underneath, and that is the gap. The paint stick is how much snow is left behind after the machine passes it in a perfect road. Sometimes it'll leave less. It will never leave more unless it's really hard and packed. Scraper bars will damage your driveway and people's driveways, so we do not, we have it set. For us, it's a lifetime part. Now, if you do not adjust your scraper bar, this is our custom Ariens. The owner, the original owner, where we rescued this machine from, never adjusted his scraper bar. Oh. Here. And guess what? There is no scraper bar. He wore the box down. So that's why this machine, this bucket needs to be redone. This project is far from over. Alright, so for me off camera, I noticed a bolt was missing, so I just put a bolt in there. Next, even though this thing runs like a dream, for the video's sake, we're going to replace, well, I'm not going to replace it. I'm just going to pull the spark plug out, check the gap, and reinstall it. So, let's pull this baby out. Come on. Why are you fighting? Alright, you guys are in my way. Let me get you guys out of my way. The spark plug is right there. And you guys are right in my way. Alright, so 13/16 socket. And look at that, just comes right out. Spark plug's one of those things where you just nice and tight and quarter turn. Maybe a quarter turn. More like a I'm trying to think of the word that I'm allowed to use on YouTube. And it's kid friendly. You know, you just get it tight and then you just snug. Give it one, snug it up, and then just give it like a small turn. You don't want to over torque it, because then you're going to have issues. Yeah, look at that. Still good. Why would we replace it? Is it really, really necessary? No. But let's check the gap and let's get some fresh anti-seize on there and call it a day. So you're looking at 0.25 to 0.030. Look at that. That's good. Let's close it. And good. Let's get some anti-seize on there. Remember, we're starting this by hand. By hand. See that? Want to make sure we thread it in. Nicey nice. Not just send it and potentially damage it and you run into issues. Don't do that. Please don't do that. And it's like on a weird funky ankle, and I'm not using the correct socket. I'm using an impact socket, but you'll be just fine. You'll be just fine. So I'm just going as far as I can by hand. And then once we get the socket on there, are you honking? See, snug, and a turn. That's it. That's all you gotta do. Give it a pull, make sure we're good. Oh, he's having an issue with the horn. Alrighty. One last pull. Oh, you know what? I forgot. Come on, guys. What did I forget? You know what time it is. You exactly know what time it is. It's seafoam time. Alright. It's part of my routine maintenance. That there. And 2 for good measure. Realistically, guys, I could dump this whole bottle in here and nothing's gonna go wrong because seafoam is petroleum based. Now, here's another thing. I was arguing with some idiot on the internet. Look at this. Stabilizes fuels. He was saying that he uses stable. He uses seafoam to keep things clean and uses stable to stabilize the fuel. And I says, you're wasting your money because seafoam doubles up as a stabilizer. And if you remember Taro's video, seafoam worked for over a year. So you tell me who's the idiot. Anyway, one more time. Because we didn't replace the spark plug. Ooh, you didn't do a tune-up. You didn't replace the spark plug. Don't need to. Alright guys, so just one last thing. Alright, lubrication points. I do not believe in white lithium grease because your machine, look how clean this thing is. I don't want this thing to look like it just got bukkakied all over after a couple of rounds of hentai. I mean, it's not for me. And I haven't touched this machine in years and it still works. And all I literally do is take this straw, go right inside here, right? Because there's 2 gears that pivot. And then same thing here, all over here, all over the cables. Okay, any place that pivots, you just want to give it a grease. And you see I'm letting it sit outside. If you guys want to use white lithium, go for it. For me, it's just really, really not necessary at all. I mean, this machine is just fine the way that it is. Alright guys, thanks for hanging out with me today in the driveway. Just a little bit of a spoil alert if you didn't figure it out. This one is here because it needs a cable, that Ariens, and this pull-on is here because it doesn't run. So that's going to be the next upcoming videos. If you guys want to see those, hit that like button, smash the subscribe button so you guys get notified when these get launched. And don't forget the missus and I appreciate everything you guys do for us. If you guys found this video helpful, good, bad, entertaining, don't care if you think it's bad. Drop your thoughts and comments down below and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Wait. And I forgot, at some point we eclipsed over 100 sales and we're only in the beginning of February. And the missus and I really do appreciate that. All right, guys, I'll catch you on the next one. Later. Oh, and if you want to see what we sell, keep the missus busy. I'll put a link in the description for you guys to check it out. Later.